Hi, everyone. It's Diane Evans here with stampingwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So, welcome to my YouTube channel or to my Facebook page. I do appreciate it when you do watch me live, or if you watch me on a replay. I appreciate that as well. This happens to be Thursday, and it's part of my Now What series. So this is where I actually will take something from my studio, show you different ways of being able to use something and that sort of stuff. Remember that this is part of a live. So if I'm talking with different people as we go along and you don't really like that when we're talking at the very beginning, you can just scoot on by that on the replay. However, I usually, well, not usually, there are times when I do go in and I ask for input, and I really do appreciate the input that I do get. Hello, Laura. So, this, like I say, is part of my Now What series. So, I'm just going to go right on down to my desktop here. Now, this happens to be part of the Nests of Winter suite. Now, this designer series paper, how many times have you gone and you want to have a bird like this, but you see that it's only on that side? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we can effectively use these side pieces from our designer series paper. It's a waste. Sometimes it's okay if you put it onto a piece onto your card base, but what says maybe if you go and you cut out these different birds. Now this is part of the suite. This has with the wintry tops, and there are some dies in here that do cut out some of these birds as it is. Don't think this is one that does cut out these particular birds. Let me just go in and check. Um, no, I think these are ones that more cut out these particular birds that are right here. So I actually went and it's kind of, I don't know. I like to fussy cut. I guess if you have a scanning cut machine, that would work well. I find it very therapeutic to go in and cut. So I actually went and I cut out one full piece of this particular one. And I don't even think I went and cut out these ones because the dies would cut those ones out. So I just took one piece of the designer series paper and cut out the whole works. So then at that point, I can go and sort these out, and I'll show you what I mean by that. See how, oh, that's not one, but see how this one is cut off here. And this one actually comes from here. So there's a piece there that we can't, well, you could use, you would have to do a little bit of different stuff with it. But I'm actually going to show you a way that we can actually use this in such a way that it's okay for it to be like that. Now, another thing with this particular suite, it has this linen or this linen thread. It also has some fantastic embellishments. And I know I have them here. These ones here as well. And it comes with a super, super big birchwood embossing folder. These, I never thought of it this way before with this birch embossing folder, but you can get out if you're going to be doing it landscape. You could get 2 card fronts out of here. So that kind of works for that. But also this works for our memory keeping, right? All right. I can't show you the inside of the catalog, but I've kind of shown you almost everything that's there anyways. So what we're going to do is we are going to use some of these part pieces, and we are going to go ahead and we are going to make a card with some of those part pieces. I might use a full piece. This designer series paper is amazing. There's some pretty nice pieces in here. I really like this one. Let me just show you the rest, just because I think that you should see it. Look at this one. This one's gorgeous as well. And the back sides are nice. I actually use this in the humble home for my class. Now, one other thing, this is the suite that I'm using for my Christmas card class for the month of September. So this bundle, or suite. So just to give you kind of a heads up on there. Hello, Lorraine, Pam, Kay, and Marie. Okay, so I have, and I'm hoping that these colors are going to be okay. Now, where are my card pieces? So just let me grab those card pieces. There we go. So like I say, I have these part pieces here. Now, this really looks like evening evergreen, but then when I really looked at it, it looks like mossy meadow in there, and there's garden green or shaded spruce in there as well. But I'm going to not even really worry too much about the green. There's that birch. See how nice that is and how big it is. Hello, Caroline. All right. So I decided I was going to do a card base of gray granite. So this is a regular card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. We're just going to come in and do that. But when you see this, hello, Karen, when you go in and see what I'm going to do with this, the card itself is, I'm hoping it turns out really well. I could have gone with pool party on here, and I was contemplating doing pool party, but I think I'm going to use the cherry cobbler. Now this happens to be on a back order, so I don't know when it's coming back in. I sure hope it's soon. But anyways, there's this, and then I have a piece of gray granite, and I ran it through that embossing folder, and it's just going to go on here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do something with those the part pieces of this. So like I say, this is part of my Now What series. So let's see how we're going to do this. Now, I have done this technique before, and it's called a floating frame, but I'm doing this with a bit of a variation. This happens to be 1, 2, 3.25 by 4.5. And this is just plain copy paper, plain paper that you would get off of your for your printer and everything else. All right, so then what I want to do is I want to get some of these part pieces, and I kind of took the pieces aside that I figured would work. So this would go here, and see, I'm going to trim some of those pieces off, but see how I'm going to put it onto this frame, and it's going to work like it's supposed to, like it's part of the deal. Now this part here was part of a bird, a red bird. Let me show you the paper, and you'll really see where I start taking some of this stuff off. So this one happened to be this one up here. This is this one here, and this would be nice, but I think it's just too big. So I'm actually going to go, I think, with this one down here. So I've got that there. And I'm going to have to put it kind of down a bit, and I may have to trim that off. And then I thought, you know what? I don't have to use all part ones. I can actually make part ones myself. So this is kind of how we're going to do this. This is going to go in here. I'm going to bring this down here. So I'm going to actually end up cutting a little bit more off of there. But I want this here. Now I could use the assistance of repositional tape, but I'm not going to. I'm going to come in here. Now I happen to have some of this. Now check back on my floating frame one and see how that was put together. Now there's also these ones that are part ones of these. So we can go ahead and use those as well. Let's see, we can use this. Can go there, and then we have another one with a part one. But you know what, I'm thinking maybe, I'm really thinking that this would be kind of nice with repositional tape. I may not have so many issues with it afterwards. Going to come in with that, put that there, and then this is going to be the part piece. So see, we're using those part pieces of Designer Series paper, and then that way we can use all of our Designer Series paper. All right. So like I say, this is part of floating frame. So we're going to be using our press and seal. I'm actually doing a stamp camp using this press and seal as well this weekend, but back to the old way of doing it. All right. So there's a sticky side, and there is a non-sticky side. So I am going to come with this. And I'm just going to put this right down there. And I'm going to have to make sure that this is even. And I think it'd be better if it goes off the paper. And then that way I can trim it. The only thing is we're going to have to make sure that this particular one is down. And this is such a neat technique. So, and you could do a double frame, but I'm not doing a double frame with this particular one. I'm just going to have this, whoops, I want this right to the edge. See, this is where probably if I'd used repositional tape at this point, it would have helped. I want that right down to, right to the edge. And it is a little finicky, but oh, I tell you, the results are amazing. I think they are anyways. Okay. So now if I wanted to, I think the images are too big to do like I did before. And when I did before, I used Taco Fiesta for my floating frame. These images are just too big for that. Do we like the way that looks? Could we put maybe a greenery there might work okay. See, do I have a full greenery? Let's see. Do I want that there? It might be too big, but let's go in and lift that up. And by doing this, I might be really messing things up. You know what? I'm going to leave that for now. I think I can do something afterwards. Okay, so this is just like this. And remember that this is on copy paper. Okay, is that okay? Karen, you said to move into the camera area. It's showing in my camera area. So, all right, so we have that like that. So what we're going to do is I am going to lift this up. And I really didn't need this big a piece of the peel and stick. And now I'm just going to cut some of that off. And it seems like a waste, but honestly, it's really okay. So we're just going to bring that up there. Just going to cut this off. So now, like I say, you can use those big images and use up your DSP the way that, and use those extra bits, right? This could be great for memory keeping as well. So I'm just going to take that off, just scrunch that up. And I'm just going to cut this off as well. Hello, Judy. So we're just going to cut that up there. Just remember when you make comments, it's delayed. So if I don't see it right away, I try to watch that as close as I can. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I am actually going to put that onto a piece of this, which is the basic white cardstock. Because see, here what we're going to do is this is what's going to happen. This is going to be the card, right? And I'm going to put this on there as well. So let's just put that there. Now, this is the tough part. So all we're going to do is I want the DSP part. I want it to stick to this peel and stick or press and seal. So I'm just going to take this off very, very carefully. And like I say, I want all of that to go onto that press and seal. Stay on that press and seal. And the slower you go, the better. Just like this. Very carefully. I love this technique. But like I say, this is with a bit of a twist from before. Take that down. There we go. So there, that's like that. That's onto there. And like I say, this is just plain copy paper. You can recycle that or do as I do. I recycle it in, well, it'll get recycled. And then what I want to do is I want to go and I want to pop this up. Now we're going to be using lots of dimensionals. And we're just going to put this on here. And the more dimensionals, because this is going to pop up, so the more dimensionals you have, the better. I feel like I'm doing a Bruno Bertucci with all these dimensionals. All right, and one here. And then let's go ahead and this one here. And then we can also use some small dimensionals as well. I mean, if you can't use dimensionals, what's the point of having them in your stash, right? Okay, so one there. Let's put one here. One here. Put one there. And probably one more. Whoops, one here. Like I say, it's very important that you have this dimensionalized. Whoops, and that kind of went over there. So I want to take that off. I want to make sure it's not going to show from the other side. And then I'm just going to come in with a couple of my other smaller ones. Hello, Leona. All right, so let's come in with our Take Your Pick tool. And we're just going to put a couple more on there. I know it's overkill, but honestly, you'll understand once I do this why it's so important to have that. Let's go one there and one here. Should put one there too. Would have been better to just have the whole sheet, right? All right, so one there and one over this one too. And then that should be enough, we hope. All right. Whoops. And we need one right there. Can't be any of them not dimensionalized. Okay, so let's just take the backings off. You have to be very careful when you take this off this way with the Take Your Pick tool. Now remember, I said I might put one in there. That might be something we can do after. Okay. Oops. And holding where the paper is better than the dimensionals, the peel and seal. You can't get this peel and seal in too many different places. I know in Canada, at least. I think down in the States, you can get it all over the place. Okay, and I think that is all. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to come in with this piece here. And I want to make sure that this goes on here correctly. So we want to line up those edges like that. I'm not pushing it down too much. Whoops. This one's really off. I'm hoping that that's up at the top. And then we're just going to press that down like that. And then what I can do while this is still here, that piece, that must have moved during the transit. All right, so you're best to go with, I'm not sure where my little trimmer went to. I was going to say a guillotine trimmer, but I think we'll be okay with this. I'm hoping we're going to be okay with my trimmer. So I'm just going to come in here. Oh, see, that didn't quite get up to that edge there. So I'm just actually going to go there. And we are going to, yeah, this would have been a lot better with a guillotine trimmer. You know what? I'm going to bring in my big one because I do not want it to tear. I don't know where that little one went to. So I know this is going to be kind of big. This was an old Stampin' Up one. It was an amazing one. So I'm just going to come in there and I'm just going to trim this right down to there. I want to push that just a bit over there. So just like that. Like I say, it would have been better with a smaller one. This is just going to go in here and we're going to trim that part off. What you have to do to make it work, right? And then we're going to do this one off as well. And you do this when you still have this tape on. I mean, this peel and stick. Whoops, that did not get cut. There we go. And one more. Just like this. I have to say, I didn't even check for that guillotine one. There we go. So then we have that like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to peel this press and seal away carefully. So carefully. And now this is all going to be popped up. Ooh, I'm thinking that that's going to have to be trimmed just a bit more. There we go. We want to get rid of that so that that doesn't interfere. But see how it pops up? It's just like a floating frame. So I could put a little tiny one there, and I don't know if I have a little tiny one. Want to do that? Now, I can get away with doing this because what I'll do is I'll put this on with dimensionals, and then you won't even know it wasn't done with the peel and tape. Like I could have arranged those all, but honestly, with the peel and stick, it's so much easier to go and arrange it and then just fill it in. Okay, so let's just go and then let's just put that there. All right, so we have used pieces, right, off of our card. So let's go ahead and put that on there. But see how that's all raised up? And you know what? I'm going to come in with one little tiny dimensional right there. Just so that it works. Whoops. Otherwise, it's going to stick up. Just like so. There we go. There. All right. So now we can go ahead and finish our card. Now, what I could do also on the inside of this card is I could go, this is, let's see, what size is this? This is quite a big inside. I'm going to cut this down to 3 3/4 by 5. Anyways, let me put this together and then we'll go from there. Now, I'm going to just glue that onto there. Ooh, we got very quiet. Now, sorry, I'm going to trim this off because this is going to drive me nuts. And this is just going to get trimmed off there and a tiny bit there and a tiny bit here as well. And it's got all this sticky on there, so we'll have to clean off those scissors. Why does that happen when you're on film, right? So this is going on. This is the gray granite. I ran it through with that embossing folder. And this is going to go on to our cherry cobbler. I'm almost out of, well, let's try this one. I have another one sitting on my desk here. This is just going to go on here. And see that cherry cobbler is kind of bringing up the red that's in those birds and the berries. So this is just going to go onto here. So like I say, this is for the Christmas card class in September. I'm using this suite. No, we're not doing this kind of a card, that's for sure. All right, so like I say, then on the inside of this, I'm just going to take this off. Let's just cut this down to 3 3/4 by 5. And put that in there. Now, you could do this in circles. You could do it in a lot of different ones. I wanted a bit more showing of the bird. So make sure that that you don't throw out those pieces. Make sure you go and cut those. When I went and did all that fussy cutting, I cut everything from that piece of designer series paper, and I got all this from one piece. So there was a lot of stuff on there. Now I probably should have see, this then could go just like that. And see, that's taking that into effect. This could go here. This is another part 1. So see how we could do that. I think I could come up with another part 1 from the die. That would have been nice to have that there, but I should have done that before I put that inside in. I could still put that in there. That would be quite nice. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to finish off the front of the card. Now, on this particular stamp set, it's not really a Christmas card stamp set, but I'm going to make it into one. A friend like you brings me happiness. You could do that. Thinking of you always is what I think I'm going to do with this. And my thought was to do it in cherry cobbler to bring that part out. Or even a circle would be okay, but I think I'm going to do it on this thing here. So we can come with that. And come with that stamp set and some Versamark. Oh, thank you, Mishwari. Yes, make sure you cut it. It's amazing how you can do that. So I'm just going to come in here and see if we can put that on there. You know what? I'm going to put this sort of in the middle here. Let's see how this works. Oh, we even got it straight. That's kind of amazing. And now I need to find the white embossing powder. That's not like me not to have it right close by. Well, I do have a tiny bit in here, so I am going to use this part. I haven't used it all, so I'll just come in here. This is the Wow embossing powder. So we're just going to go and now remember, you want to go with the white. There is a clear on there, but you want to just do the white. So I'm actually just going to put it onto here. We do have, geez, I don't even know. Oh, I know where I put my embossing thing. My little tray. is collecting other stuff at the other end of the table. Okay, so we'll just put that on there. Put that off. And I'll just come in with a bit of a brush. Okay, I think I've taken too much off of there. Whoa, see? That's why I keep those in those containers. I'll put that back in there. So let's put that off to one side so I don't muck it up. And I'll just heat set that. My goodness, you guys. I don't know where my, there it is. Let me just grab my heat gun. So yeah, this is going to be September's Christmas card. There you go. Now I think this would look kind of nice with a different shape of die on there as well. I don't like how that one looks. So I am going to go back in and I am going to fix that. I'm going to do it on the other side. And I think what it is I've got a bit of a halo on there. So let me just go back in and fix that, because I don't like how that looks. There we go. Let's just go down like that. Because you know how much I love embossing, right? Let's go and bring that back in. That little piece of paper with the embossing powder on it. Yeah, I'm not very good without that other thing. There we go. Much better. Much better. Okay, so I'm just going to put that lid on. Move this out of the way, and I'll put that back into the container afterwards. All right, so let's heat set that. Now, it has really nice, I really like the linen thread from here. But because I use the cherry cobbler, I'm thinking that this linen thread, except for maybe the navy. Let's see if the navy would work on this one. The green might work too. So let's see. We're going to put this across here. And I'm going to put it where it's kind of like there. And then I'm going to trim that off. Now, what I do not want to do is I do not want to raise it anymore. But let me just go in. And the rust definitely does not work. The navy could work. So let's see what that would look like on there. And the green would kind of work. So let's just see. No, not the green either. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do this. So I'm just going to take off probably about 12 inches. And I'm just going to wrap this around my fingers. And I'm going to do it around the 3 fingers. And I probably should have maybe gone a little bit more. And then I'm just coming in like this. I'm going to take this and tie this into a knot. Like so. Because I'm using this navy, I'm wondering if I'm going to have to change my embellishments as well. All right, so then I've got this like this. And I want that so that it doesn't untie. So I'm going to wrap it around once more and just tie that in there. I know that looks a little Just wait, let me get that through. Just like so. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off. Let me cut this side. So we have that cut like that. This is going to go across there. So I want to cut that. And the reason I'm not measuring this is because remember I trimmed down and it's going to be a little bit different. So there we go. All right. So that's just going to go across there. Now, what I want to do is I want to come in with the glue dot. And this is how I do my twine behind there. I just looped it. Just going to put some of that on there. And then this is just going to go, whoops. Behind here. I'm all fingers today. Let's just move that apart a little bit. So then it's just going to go like so. So see how that works like that. And then I am just going to use glue on here because this is already popped up with that that floating thing. And I'm just going to put this across here. And that part is going to then, see how that, whoops. Oh, you know what? Because of that thread, it's popped up. So let me go. And honestly, I've got to tell you, this might be some problems because glue and dimensionals don't stick well together. But let's give it a try. All right, so we're just going to put that right there. We could have wrapped that around a little bit more if we wanted to. There we go, like that. And now what we need to do is we need to put some embellishments on there. And those other ones will not work. So there's actually a couple that will work with this. I could use this. I could use, where is it? Just bear with me here. There we go. This is what I kind of had in mind. I could use this being the red cobbler, cherry cobbler, or I could use this. And I think really the cherry cobbler is going to work. So I hope that, you know, you're going to go in and use your part pieces because it's so important to use those pieces up. So I'm just going to actually go in and from there, and let's put one right there. Now, as far as the inside goes, I'm really mad at myself for putting that in there first. So I am going to, watch this. I am just going to take this and cut this. And by cutting it, that'll decide where I'm going to put it. So I'm just going to go and cut that. And see how that's going to work, just like that. Love this DSP. I like the back side too. Let's go ahead and put that there. Bring that up. So again, using the half pieces, we can do something with it. Almost got that into my embossing powder there. So there we go. There's our card. And like I say, it's a little bit different. I did use the colors from the Designer Series paper. Thanks, Pamela. And thanks, Florence. All right. So if you like that, give me the thumbs up. Share my video. I really do appreciate it when you do that. Remember that if you're watching on a replay, to say that you're watching on a replay. Say where you're from. I really do appreciate that. Now, as far as my card sketch, I have a stamp camp on Saturday, so I will not be doing my card sketch on Saturday. I'll be doing it at 10 o'clock on Sunday. So we won't miss it this weekend, but I won't be doing it on the Saturday, that's for sure. And Sip and Stamp is on Saturday as well. The seal, this is called, you might want this for this weekend, Lorraine. It's called Press and Seal, and it works great. It doesn't go in my kitchen. It stays in my craft room. All right. Okay. All right, you guys, remember to create because it's great for the soul. And we will see you on Sunday, 10 o'clock Pacific time. Bye for now.